It's 9 o'clock, Monday, July 21st, 2025. I'll call the Chickasaw County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Roll call, we have Supervisor Reitbach, Suko, Carter, myself, Acton is absent, and we have Board Secretary Sheila Shuttleford. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Motion seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Forgot. Hold on. Steve. Aye. Isaac. Aye. Travis. Aye. Myself. Aye. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from last week?
So moved.
Second. Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, roll call. Travis? Aye. Steve?
Aye.
Isaac? Aye. Myself, aye. Engineer Roman Lindsay, Department update.
Good morning all. So last week, hard surface round 2 of mowing. Northwest quadrant is completed, southwest quadrant started, side roads, only the Fredericksburg area a little bit has left. We had a breakdown because we ran over it's a pulley from the Highline wire installers. They're gonna compensate us for that damage, but that should be finished this week and we're hopefully gonna get a lot of the hard surface round 2 done. Bridge replacement project on B22, we set the box on Thursday, poured curtain walls, backfill this week, hopefully get it open by the end of the week, it might go into next. Division 3 contract rock was started, hope to be done by August 1st. Our guys got about 75% of their 15,000 ton hauled, 2 routes are left, routine blading all week. We did do some work on Franklin Avenue near that closed bridge on 150th. Widening the width traveled way, flattening out the crown over the hill, radii, and then spot rocking. Bridge 2400 on Caldwell Blacktop, all pile or driven, substructures completed. We're waiting on beams now, looking like the week of July 29th. Bridge 0270 on 300th Street is now open to traffic as of Friday. Field review is tomorrow with the DOT. We processed payment for that box set on the Alta Vista Blacktop. A lot of design work. We did change Vanderbilt Bridge 2000. We changed the design to a beam bridge to allow for a shallow spread footing in rock. We're not used to encountering rock in Chickasaw too often, so we're adjusting on that. That's got to move fast. Might have to delay the letting a little bit. The vise is going full bore on it, so hopefully we'll keep on schedule, but might have to postpone it a month. Then meeting with a lot of consultants in regards to the engineer's proposed building office. Again, those RFPs are due August 1st. I mentioned I wrote the letter addressing everyone's concern from last week's meeting. Then they can reach out to me with anything if they need. Weeks prior were more of the same, but we did do some Durapatching in various locations, retrieving some trouble areas. T76, Scott, I know you brought up, we're doctoring that as time goes by. Chloride delivery was made. We'll still have another delivery for an additional truckload. I did submit an FY26 budget amendment for Sheila's letter. Ours is basically just taking money for a maintenance project that was supposed to be paid for last year out of the infrastructure fund and moving it to this year, just with the way billing worked. So it's really no increase in costs, just moving it from one fiscal year to the next. We did have a county engineers mid-year conference in Ames on 7/10 as well. Just updates and stuff, a lot of federal things. More of the same the week prior. I did have a request that maybe we'll address when the full board's here in regards to mill callers permits. So each county can elect to issue those if they want. A lot of counties don't, some counties do. We have 2 haulers. In the last 2 years, we've had 2 haulers get permits, a total of 14 permits, $25 a piece, so $350. County makes up these permits. He had a breakdown, I believe, and he had to use a different truck, and then got pulled over on a weekend. So discussed with that operator options, don't want them to be dumping milk out. So other option would be maybe modify the permit to allow a 48 or 72 hour transfer with notification. We don't have to be here to answer it, but if they leave a voicemail or if they leave an email, there's a paper trail there. Or we could do away with it as a whole and they just get it through the state. I'm fine with whatever, but just to give you guys a heads up, that was something that was called in about. I'm, like I said, fine with whatever we choose. It's just one of those things, if they do have an emergency on a weekend, and they can't get a new permit for a replacement vehicle, then they're at mercy of the Blue Boys, so. I guess I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that. Again, I talked with Jake a little bit about it, because I believe the hauler called him as well, and David too. So, just something, start thinking about what you guys wanna do with it. Like I said, 14 and consistently over the last couple of years from 2 hauling. So it's not something we really deal with too much. That's all I got, unless you guys got questions.
We doing anything with roadside weeds, parsnips, any of that?
We mostly spot spray. It's something that if we wanted to get a program going, it's a lot of money and that stuff's pretty resistant and it's very time constrained, and then it's also where are you at? Is that person doing organic or do they not, if you do it at the right time, it can kill beans.
Migrate all the vegetables.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that's as easy as just saying we're gonna blanket spray the whole county.
Well, I noticed a lot of the other county spray, but I've had some questions in the last couple of weeks about it from different people. And I was just curious if we were doing anything or if we were looking at maybe trying to start some kind of roadside program to control
Well,
it.
that'd be coordination with Chad, he's a roadside manager right now. Yeah. I don't know if you've tried to kill parsnip, it's not a very easy thing to do.
No.
And I know we've had people with equisetum, scouring rush. That's becoming a big thing because it spreads by rhizome, not seed. So if you dig it and you move it, it can spread to that spot.
Canada thistle too, but that's just really tough to control.
Yeah, I mean, Winnebago County had a roadside vegetation management program in place that I think was a pretty good one, and they just upended it and eliminated it because of cost. I think a lot of it comes down to that. They had $500,000 in their roadside, I mean, they had a roadside designated person that just did that. He did a fantastic job, but it came down to funds and that whole department got scrapped. So I guess I'm open to something, but also not biting off more than the county's budget can chew.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of good residents that do take care of their ditches. That's appreciated. It's not required by any means, but.
We don't need a permit to do that, do we?
No, it's people mowing their ditch and stuff like that, no, but spraying,
I'm being out there this afternoon, so.
yeah.
I gotta get a permit.
No, in the past, we have. It's just another thing to keep track of. People might adhere to it, might not, so. I guess if you have ideas or suggestions, anything like that, I guess we're all ears. We are out spraying.
Well, I know a lot of the property owners spray their own. I've seen a lot of that too.
We're focusing more on brush, not necessarily every single weed in the ditches. We're looking at something that's gonna grow into a bigger problem down the line, visibility issues, so. Yeah.
We got anything else for Roman? Thanks, Roman.
Thank you, everyone.
Past time 9:05, there's no public comment. Discuss and approve ISAC IT audit and authorize signature for the statement of work and the indemnification agreement. Well, Dave, I think you looked at these, haven't you?
I did, yes.
So I know Dave got a hold of, the cost was $4,000. It's basically just for transportation and hotel rooms, I believe, but I'm not sure. Jake went through with me the other day. I know it sounds like most of these individuals that will be coming here are all mostly fairly close. Winnebago County, Clayton County. I know there's one coming from down by Colorado. But yeah, there was a $4,000 cost to it. And it would be here, roughly, he thought maybe sometime around the second week of August.
Just a $4,000 flat fee is how it is.
Yeah.
What fund did that come out of?
General basic. It's general basic, and we have the auditing clerical services, and we have 55,000 in there. And, I think right now we're looking at, the private audit to be under 40. So that's what else comes out of here, yeah.
Who do data processing?
You could do data processing.
Yeah, data processing IT, I know. Jake had suggested the IT budget is what, or, I don't know, let me just double check what he said there.
So we have data processing services in Department 52, that we could put 60,000 in there. So you could do either or,
It said IT department or Department 51 administrator or something. So what he had suggested, but
Now all our Tylers, for the courthouse goes through the IT department and everything, but if we're doing countywide, is it, you guys just tell me,
if you wanna, you got a different idea or?
No, so it's stronger.
If Danny knows about this and is okay with it, and
I believe Jake talked to him last week.
we did.
So I will go into a motion to sign both of these at once or two different motions. What do you think, Dave?
yeah, so there's a whole package. So the motion would be to enter into the agreement with ISAC for the IT audit, and then which account to pay it from, I suppose. And authorize signatures on both documents. That's what you want to do.
Is there a motion?
We talked about the two different accounts we take out, which one you recommend?
I personally.
I would say
You
that-
talking to him?
No, GB, I think she reckoned we're doing countywide.
GP.
Yeah.
I make that motion. And take out GP. Second.
Motion seconded. Any further discussion? Not roll call. Steve?
Aye.
Isaac? Travis? Myself, aye.
And then you're authorizing signature.
Discuss and acknowledge the October 2025 quarterly installment payment that the cities are obligated to make.
Now, I just wanna, in your packet, there was a 2080 agreement, and I just pulled some ones, because they're all the same, just the different, ones made out for each one of the cities, so that you realized what the 2080 agreement was. And, also, I gave you the certified balance, which was on the 15th at the end of business, and the cash balance for the EMS account was $716,647.95.
So there was current activity was 83,234 was the biggest
Yeah.
expenditure.
Well, the payroll came out of there, and,
Insurance.
that 56,
Or lead insurance.
road, what was it, 56,000 or something?
And we discussed it at budget time, that maybe we don't need that much money in that fund. And looked up and it said, Board of Supervisors can at any time, even year 1 or 2, waive any payment amounts, generate quarterly payment. I guess I recommend this time that we waive quarterly payment.
I would agree, I think we should waive this payment, but I think we should, in our letter we send to the cities waiving the payment, probably make them aware that there's a good possibility January's payment's gonna need to be made.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The only thing I'm gonna state is the January payment goes up 5%.
Again, yes.
So we make them pay now. And then their January payment will most likely be, it'll be above that anyways.
So in theory, right now, back up to the beginning of the story. So it fell below 750 as of end of business July 15th. So 750 is the trigger. So if it's above 750 for 2 consecutive quarters, then it automatically waives the next payment. So it fell below 750. So in theory, they're obligated to make now both the October payment of 2025 and the January payment of 2026. They'll have to be back above 750 for 2 consecutive quarters in order to automatically trigger the stop again. So if it gets measured again, if they make a payment before October and it's back up above there in October, they're still gonna have to pay the January payment unless you guys unilaterally waive it. So they'll have to fall below, be above it for 2 consecutive quarters before it triggers it again.
But we could waive the January payment.
You can waive any
And
payment you want,
Make
correct?
them pay this.
Yep, you can waive any payment you want. So it was structured that each of them starts with their base rate in 2023. And then for each calendar year, it would add on 5%. So I think they made those payments in 2023, is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
the whole year.
The whole year, and then 2024, we started waiving them.
Yeah.
So this would be their first payment, if they paid in January, this would be their first payment in 2 years, basically.
Right.
So the numbers are gonna have to be calculated off of the 2023 plus 5%,
Yep,
plus another 5%,
correct.
and then the January would be plus another 5%. It would accrue, it would be straight 15%, be whatever the math comes out to be.
Right, and they have their payments, I have gave them to them.
They have those numbers, what it would be in January?
Mhm.
Yeah, the total payment in January would be $290,088.41.
Between all the
The
entities.
total,
How much was that again?
$290,088.41.
With the 5%, the 5% increases?
Yep,
I'll just state that when we entered into this 28 agreement, I don't think any of us really figured there'd ever be any waivers. We just figured that it was always gonna be funded every quarter. So we've got a year that no payments made. But I still would say that I think we need to waive this payment, see where the fund is next quarter. I know there's some changes made on his revenue stream.
Yep.
Maybe things are gonna possibly look better, but I think at this point in time, we don't necessarily need any more money in this account for another quarter. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. We go ahead and make this one. See where his revenues are at, and let's hopefully they'll start coming up and go above this 750 again.
And just make sure I'm clear on this. So if that's what you guys decide to do, is to waive this payment this fall, it would not automatically waive the January payment. And the January payment would be the not super big, but the new amount with the 15+% increase in the original payments.
Just following the agreement that we're only waiving one payment.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which you're entitled to do without changing the overall structure of the agreement. Without actually that.
so if they, because the 750, it went under, it triggered that a payment could be due. So with them waiving the first one, is that considered the one payment then, and then going to the second one?
No.
No,
So-
okay.
So now that it fell below 750 as of July 15, the October and January payments are both automatic now. Unless it's more waivers.
That's what I mean, so they're automatic. So with them waiving the October payment, there's only one payment due.
I would say if the funds.
Well, in theory, yes, but unless it somehow goes back above 750 between now and October without a payment, which is pretty unlikely.
Yeah,
you're still gonna have the January and the March payments, or the April payments are both gonna be due. So it has to fall, it has to go back
Yeah.
above for 2 consecutive quarters to trigger it, so.
Yeah, but I was
They're gonna be
thinking
on the
if
hook for at least
October, if it comes up, there's one, and then January if it comes up, there's two.
If they pay now, right,
Well,
before
no,
October.
I mean, if the revenue stream
Oh.
comes in. And I'm just, so this triggers the two payments basically.
Correct.
So they're waiving the first one, but we're gonna do another one in October
We haven't
fifteenth.
decided that yet, but that's what they're talking about, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. And they're gonna certify another one October fifteenth. And then, but it has to be two consecutive
Correct.
quarters. But we still have this payment due in January, and then they're gonna certify again in, July, or January fifteenth. So possibly, they wouldn't have to pay the April payment.
Correct, October and January are now obligated.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Automatic.
if you wait on it,
Regardless of what happens October 15th, if there's $2 million on October 15th, they're still on the hook for January.
yep, okay,
Regardless
yeah,
of what happens there,
yeah, okay.
unless they're waived. The next two are automatic, now, regardless of what happens over the next 6 months.
Okay, that's all I need.
Yep.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to waive the next payment for the EMS.
That'd be the October payment that would be due October 5, 2025, right?
Yes.
And then in the letter, we'll state that they're still obligated for January's payment, correct?
Unless the board takes action between now and
Yeah,
January.
but I mean, we're gonna tell them, right?
I think you would, yeah.
Recommend that.
That's on the agreement, please.
Second.
Motion and seconded, any further discussion?
I'm just gonna state, I think we should waive, or may have them pay this one. And then if it's above the $750 for January, we could waive it, but. Just to try to help save a little bit of money, and everybody's struggling, but.
And I don't know how their finances are, Travis, and maybe this changes discussion, maybe I should be saying this, but if they pay now, the number is gonna go back above 750 for October when it's measured again.
Yeah.
So then if it's back above 750 again in January, they're not up on the start again. If you wait to have them pay in January, that number is gonna be below it as it sits now. You see what I'm saying? If they pay now, they're probably gonna get back on a streak where it's back above. If they wait until January, they're probably gonna have at least one streak where they're under, one more streak where they're under. October.
Correct, because they're gonna receive,
But we could waive that one in January,
You definitely could,
and
right?
then if it stays above the $750.
Correct.
Otherwise,
This would in theory get them above that number for October, when it's measured in October, and get them back on track of having it above the number.
yes,
Sooner than waiting until January when it's back above the number.
Well,
That's where you're going with it.
and then we'll save a little bit of money all the way around too. Just the cities and county. That's just my opinion.
Okay, Joel, since you just walked in here, we have a motion on the table to forego the October payment. And in the letter we send to the cities to let them know that there's highly likely they're gonna have to pay the January payment.
Correct, so. Do we know why this happened, or have we discussed that at all?
We really haven't, I guess, discussed necessarily directly why it's happened.
So the $60,000 Heartland bill
Yeah.
got paid.
Yeah.
And that was partly my fault. I remember looking at this year over year from last year, wondering why we took such a big hit the first quarter of the fiscal year. It's because the insurance all comes out at once. A little bit of forethought, and I should have caught it. If I would have waited to pay that claim after the 15th, we would have still been above the 750. And then if you look at the quarterly pool cash report after the first quarter, we show a pretty big hit that first quarter, and then it rebounds subsequent quarters. And I don't know what's all been discussed, but we're gonna start seeing by October the increased GEMT subsidy, which will certainly help as well. We're, we certified at 716. Do I think we could be under in October again? Possibly. I guess the question that I talked to Jake a little bit about it before he left, how much money needs to sit in there? You know, what's a realistic number? When that 750 was made, I think only 2 of the current board members were on at that time.
Yeah, Steve and Jay.
Yeah, and I don't know how that number ever got established.
I can tell you, so I was meeting the whole mess. EMS, literally. It was right at the end of the negotiations. It was the very last minute before everyone signed off. Fredericksburg actually was one that suggested that we throw it in there to make sure that you guys weren't continuing to accumulate cash and not make your contributions and rely solely upon the city's contributions. That was a fail-safe. And I don't think there was any rhyme or reason that was picked. It just seemed like a reasonable number to go with. There was no rationale for it. No one, Steve made this comment earlier, no one had any idea how this was gonna work financially.
Right.
I don't feel like anyone did. Maybe I don't think anybody did. More naive than others, but.
Well, right, and so, you know, if we look at major expenditures, you know, we need a ton of capital right now to buy an ambulance because one absolutely grenades that insurance doesn't cover. You know, that's $220,000. How much do we need to accumulate in there, I guess is the question. My opinion as the motion is on the floor, yes, please waive the October payment. And just let the cities know that, and if they're watching, you know, we don't know what the next quarters are going to bring. We don't know the financial impact that this Medicaid subsidy is going to have on. So is there a chance that they will have to make a payment in this fiscal year potentially? But then, you know, having the conversation about how much needs to actually sit in there is the other question. You know, if they were to make this payment in October or January, it's gonna push the balance up over $1 million. I feel like there's probably a better place that the cities and the county can allocate those funds to than sitting with such a high pool of cash in balance. We also don't wanna get caught on the short end of it when we do need to, you know, need to use those funds. We don't wanna run it down to zero, but I think we probably can be a little more financially responsible not to have that big of a number.
Are we still, or are you guys still trying to keep the miles together?
Somewhat, yes. So, Medic 3, the last remount that we purchased, we've been using as our primary transfer truck to catch it back up. That truck has shown a few issues that we're now wanting to keep that as the primary transfer truck pretty much indefinitely to get some miles accrued on it so that we can move that one down the road versus one of the other two Fords that are doing much better.
The only thing that, I mean, I think I've maybe said this before, is I don't know why, which, that's fine, and you're gonna keep that primary, but eventually you're gonna have to replace all three at the same time.
That's not the goal. That's never been, that is never the goal. So the goal as it sits right now, would be to leave, that remounted truck that we got last, first up for all transfers, put the miles on that as much as we can. When that one reaches end of life, we should have 2 ambulances, Medic 1 and Medic 2, that sit with less than 100,000 on them. And then at that point, when we replace Medic 3 with a different truck, that truck will most likely get thrown into the 911 rotation. Medic 1 or Medic 2 will then go as the transfer truck to push that one up to its end of life. The goal would be to spread the replacements out at least by 2 years, if not longer, to not have them all come due at the same time. And the plan that we have in place, barring no major complications with engine troubles or chassis issues or transmissions, that's the goal as how we've set forth with this. As I talked in budget time, obviously we didn't budget for a new ambulance this fiscal year. I certainly don't believe as things look right now, we will see it next fiscal year, potentially the fiscal year after, we'll look at
That
it.
was my thoughts of being 2 years out. And when we're budgeting, we're gonna know ahead and we'll share with the cities that probably have to move an ambulance.
Correct.
This coming year, and you're gonna have to
Right,
put it in your budget. But
Right, and
it's a good 2 years out, and we'll
Yeah.
know that.
yeah,
But this, not to interrupt, but the contract with the cities is only for 5 years, right?
it is. So
So-
we're roughly 2.5 years into a 5-year, 2080.
We'll finish year 3 this year. It has, I really make it work. Does it have automatic additions or no? I think it's just lock them in for 5 years if they want to get out.
And they have to give us
Right.
notice, and then it happens July 1st or something like that. I was just putting that out there, just.
Yeah, and I don't know as how those trucks are performing now with the miles we're putting on them. I do not know that we would end up replacing a truck under the current agreement. Just with how they performed thus far. Everything's subject to change, right? Like, anything can change on
Like, I can't speak
That's
for the
actually great,
cities, but
isn't it?
I can't speak for the cities, but I have to assume that the way this has gone, I think all of them will be more than happy to continue the agreement. It's worked well, and I don't think anybody expected a year waive payments this early into the contract, so.
Yeah, my only comment is mathematically, and I'm not sitting in the city's shoes, I'm just sitting here as one person making this comment, but mathematically, I agree with Travis. If you are not confident it's gonna go back above 750 without a payment from them, they're probably better off making a payment now and getting it back above 750 so the automatic triggers can go back into place than they are waiting to make it in January when they're 1 quarter already behind without the automatic triggers. But if you think it's gonna go back above 750 without payment, then yes, they're probably better off waiting it now. So that may never.
And I don't know, I can't say for certain, right?
Right.
But the deal of it is, for them to become automatically waived, it's gotta be 2 consecutive quarters.
Right.
So they, in theory, when we would certify in October, even if it was above 750, they'd still be required to make a January payment if the board chooses not to waive it.
Correct, but if they paid enough by October 5, when you measured it on October 15, it'd be back above 750, they'd have 1 quarter already where they're earned. So if they can waive January, and then it's still above 750 in January, now they got automatic next spring waive. Whereas if you waive now, then come October, when you measure it, if it's still below 750, they make a payment in January, that's gonna be their first one will be in January, where it's back above 750.
Right.
It's,
And the increase of 5%. So I do agree, but and so we're looking at 280,000 roughly between the cities and the county's contribution for a quarterly payment. That's we're just over 716 now. That'll push us up over $1 million. I mean, we'll be at almost 1.3 with the January payment. You really need that much money sitting there. Would that really stretch it out before they probably would never have to make another payment under the 2080?
right, I don't think anyone's contemplated waiving both, I think it's just a matter of, do you waive now and hope that it goes back above 750, or do you wait?
Are you
and
gonna
wait
roll
in
the
January
dice?
and see where it's at, and see where they're at, I mean, and again, your comment is very pertinent, I mean, if in fact they waive now and it's still hovering right around 730, 710 in January, if you decide to waive again at that point, even though it's technically below 750, that's up to these guys, I'm just.
Yeah,
And that's
we
where
need
we're
to
at.
know all our options.
Any more discussion? If not, roll call. Steve? Aye. Isaac? Aye. Travis?
No,
Myself, aye. Passes 3-1.
So we're gonna waive the October payment, and we're gonna make them aware in a letter that they may have to pay the January payment.
And what that number would be.
5%.
Discuss and authorize signature on request for group insurance. Extra.
Thanks.
So Jennifer McMillan from World Insurance Associates had emailed me that she would like us to sign an amendment for our insurances, and what this amendment does is, right now, we have two different things going with our medical insurance and our life insurance. And what they're talking about is a waiting period. So when can you get on this insurance? And we're discussing going from part-time to full-time. We're not discussing anything else, just part-time to full-time. The medical insurance, you can get right on it, there's no waiting. If you choose at full-time to get on it after being part-time. The life insurance, there's a waiting period. So what World Insurance would like us to do is sign this amendment that puts the medical insurance and the life insurance for a part-time person going full-time as the same type of waiting period. And they would like no waiting period. Did I explain that good enough?
I think so. I think that's.
Any questions?
Questions on that, or? Is there a motion?
No. Second.
Motion seconded, any further discussion? If not, roll call, Isaac? Aye. Steve?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Committee assignments. Anybody have anything last week?
I had, July 15th, I had the Upper Wapsie Watershed Management. So we discussed the grants we're working on right now. We're worried about some of the federal stuff that's not going to come down the line. And then we were supposed to have officer election. We didn't have a quorum, but come up with nominees and voted online. Somehow I got to be nominated as secretary treasurer. Pretty sure I probably got elected, so yeah, that was July 15th.
Anybody else have any?
July 17th, I had a Northeast Iowa Workforce Development Board. Basically, it was a special meeting, to go over this merger. And everybody basically agrees that they're trying to push this too fast. So basically, right now, in limbo, we're not merging as of right now. We're gonna get some more information on it. And then on the 18th, I had a North Iowa Juvenile Detention meeting in Waterloo. Went over a bunch of reports. Looked at doing, there was some rough damage because of age. Basically, we're gonna put a new roof on one of the buildings. Then they got a bunch of landscaping bids for, one on Dunkerton Road out there, I can't think of it right now. Basically, everybody agreed that the bids come in way too high, like $40,000 and stuff. So that's not happening here, so. Otherwise, that's it, that's all I have.
Future agenda items. You got anything?
So there's a lot of fallout regarding the budget discussion and extra money and whatnot. So just ask you to be communicative with department heads on that, what the process is gonna look like and how that's gonna work. I think there was some departments that talked to me last week that said maybe they didn't understand that this was a chance for us to come back in and rebuild our budgets, or it wasn't the traditional budget number, should I say, put it that way, maybe? He's smart and he knows what I'm saying, but was this really a chance to say, hey, we have extra money, things that we want to cut, we want to add back in, or was this just, hey, these are cleanups that we need, that we traditionally do this time of year? And I just think we need to make sure we're clear with the department heads what the purpose of this is and how we're gonna proceed with them. That's just my 2 cents as a department.
And can we go back to the minutes? Do I need to change, motion to, because I have Jake Hackman's name on there. Do I need to have the vice, on my minutes, I have Jake Hackman as chairperson? And that they approved, do I need to change that to the vice chair so he can sign them? Or do I just wait till Jake goes back? Okay, doesn't matter, okay.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and seconded, any further discussion? If not, roll call, Travis? Steve?
Aye.
Isaac? Myself, aye. Adjourned at 9:04.
So, yeah, okay. Dave, can I talk to you for
Yeah.
a second?
Yeah, watch out.
Have you signed